Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Tuesday, August 24th. And I did a CardCast update yesterday afternoon. So I may be a little bit light on some of that update, but I'll kind of briefly summarize what that was about. Really, I just mentioned the Power of Veto meeting had been held. Derek was indeed nominated once Xavier saved himself. Derek X, that is. And I just went on to speculate about the powers, the high roller stuff, and how that worked, and how I felt like they should have added the option for the evictee to give their leftover Big Brother bucks to somebody in order to give more people a chance to play. But they also designed the amount of money awarded in such a way that you couldn't really play for every power, even if you got the most votes. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of the way they laid it out, but it forced, hardly anybody really could play last week, and virtually no one will be able to play this Thursday. As I said, I won't go into too much again, but as I said, I think that really only Hannah, maybe, and Derek Frazier will have an opportunity to play in Friday's high roller competition, which seems like a waste, and I don't think it'll even happen because I don't think Derek will have a motivation to play in it, especially if a cookout member is the head of household. Now, even if a cookout member is the head of household, or even if a cookout member isn't the head of household, because really you only have one non-cookout member as a possible person to put up there. The one question someone did, and someone, I can't remember your name, I'm sorry, did post on my Spreaker webpage where I used to do these CardCasts. There's a space on there to leave comments, but not really a place for me to reply. But I do read them. I get an email when their comments are left there. She asked how the rest of the house would know for sure that Derek Frazier was the one that played that if he did, because I said that if he plays it, people will know that he lied about how much money he had. And I think her question was either how would they know that he played it? And I believe that it's not anonymous, but I could be wrong. Maybe the Coin of Destiny player is anonymous when they play it. If they play it. Because Alyssa was announced as the winner of hers, and Kylan, they announced the scores of the first competition, so there doesn't seem to be any anonymity in those two. But if they were told that the Coin of Destiny person is anonymous, then sure, I guess maybe he could pretend that it wasn't him. I just don't see any reason for him to need to or want to play it. But that was my point. If Derek X could give his money to somebody else, now he might give it to Hannah. Again, probably wouldn't play it, but he might give it to Derek X, or not Derek X, to Claire, and she would probably play it. So there's why, I just don't think it's anonymous. But if it is, then that maybe Derek Frazier will play it. I still don't think he will. All right, so on to what's going on now. Whoa, campaigning, but really, it's still not going to save Derek X. He has campaigned a little bit, but I don't think he has the votes. The three cookout ladies know that they're in a tight spot against the three cookout men. The three cookout men seem to be on the same page to take out the three cookout women if everything's perfect. But then on the side, they're also trying to each keep in good with the women in case, one of the guys goes. They don't want to, ruin their shots with the women. They want to be on their good side. So it's kind of a, they're all doing this dance where they're trying to stay in good with each other, but also work against each other. And as I said yesterday, I think as well, the problem here is that we're not going to get to see that. Even, one of the big build-up moments was, hey, once it gets to the 6th, if the cookout do run this game the rest of the way like they have been, we'll get to that week where we'll have 6 of them in the house together, and we'll have some drama there where there's the 6 of them working with each other or against each other, and da-da-da-da. Yeah, well, there won't be that time because we're apparently going to go from 7 to 4. And so we'll have a very brief moment of the 6, and then they will just tear into each other and knock it down to 4, and that's going to ruin that little bit of potential moment. I wonder if production is talking about that possibility. It's like, oh man, we could have had a whole week of the 6 and their drama, and and it's just not going to happen. I wonder if that's on their table, if that's their discussion to talk about that, and if they're trying to figure out how they can possibly make that work so they can have that moment of TV. Because right now they're going to lose a potential magic moment of this historic moment where these 6 people have worked very hard to get to this point, and they will have made it, and it will all be lasting for all of 5 minutes between commercials on a triple eviction night. All right, what else? Not a whole lot. I mean, it's Tuesday, we've got today, we've got tomorrow. They're talking more about next week as usual, and Derek is still trying to spin things, and he's talking, but he knows, and Claire kind of knows, and they don't really like each other, so they don't really want to go against each other too hard. But of course, the diary room will be encouraging them to campaign, to try to stir things up. I'm sure there'll be another last-minute flurry like there has been, but it doesn't help. It doesn't happen. Tiffany is in good with both Derek and Claire. So, even though she's talked like she would like to keep Derek X around, she doesn't want to because she knows he's not staying, so she doesn't want to give him a sympathy vote because it won't matter, and Claire will be upset. And Azza also wants to give, or does Azza want to give Derek a sympathy vote? I don't even remember. I don't know at this. Hannah. Hannah wants to give Derek a sympathy vote, kind of, but she's not sure if she can. It'll be a 4-3 vote this week. It will not be a tie vote. Last week was the tie vote, where it could have put Kylan on the spot and make him break the tie, which they didn't. This week, it will be 4-3, so the head of household has no say in the actual final vote. All right, so that's what we got. I don't know how long they'll have the backyard for. Maybe a little bit longer today. We'll see. But, yeah, that's what we got, guys. I hate to be like, yeah, well, that's what's going on, but that's where we're at right now, and I'm sorry, and I wish it was a little bit more exciting and thrilling, but it is what it is, and it will be what it will be, and what that is right now is just not super exciting. I'm sorry. But there are people that follow me that constantly, after everything I put out there, not everyone, but a lot of them, it's been so boring, it's been a horrible season, it's terrible. It's not been a horrible season, it's not been boring, it has been a little bit predictable here, but that's just the way it worked out. But it is not, I guess part of people's complaints is that there isn't been enough drama because there aren't that many hateable characters. There aren't people who you're just like, I just totally hate them. Well, when there are seasons where we totally hate people, that usually doesn't end well either. So there's just never going to be a perfect storm of a season. And honestly, this is the problem with a live season. All right? You've got Survivor. If you want to compare this to Survivor is a pre-recorded season where everything is known ahead of time when they start editing. They know who's going to win. Again, this is the same song and dance I've done before, but we're going to go through it again, folks. So those of you that heard this before, just take a deep breath, and then come back to me. We've seen this before. not we've seen this before. I've said this before. Survivor is pre-recorded. It's all done. They know who wins the season when they start editing. They know who's going to win. They know who's going to get evicted which week. They know who to take the time on to highlight. They know who's going to have a really exciting moment, in week 6. They know that in week 1. They also know who's not going to really have much influence in the game until way at the end. Or maybe who they didn't exactly know. They have all the entire story in their hands, and they can go through and they can find moments. They can pick things out. Maybe there's a reference, in the last week to something that happened in week 1. Well, in Big Brother, they may not have, no, oh my God, we totally didn't even show that conversation. Well, now we got to show it in a flashback form. Well, in Survivor, they can actually show that conversation in week 1. And then they can do a flashback again. It's like, oh, wow, I do remember that conversation. Well, we won't remember it because in Big Brother, it would have never been shown to us. And yet, they've had a chance in Survivor to craft the entire story and lay it out. So Survivor is always going to have a better edit than Big Brother. It just is. It just is. The difference is the live feeders, we get to watch that all play out ourselves. And although we don't get to see every moment because we can't see everything on the feeds all the time, we do get to see a lot that the Survivor fans don't get to see. But it also lifts that curtain and shows us that, it's not as thrilling as you think. Guess what? Survivor would not be as exciting if we got to watch live feeds of Survivor all the time. It would be more predictable. We would know who would go. We'd discover some people's flaws that the editors completely hide. Things would be said that would be very controversial and would get blown up. There's all these kind of things that happen if we got to see Survivor. So Big Brother is what it is because of what it is. And as much as people want to complain and hate on it, if you think it will ever be like Survivor, well, you're sadly mistaken. So you should enjoy the perks that we get because there's live feeds, but understand that the downside of that is that the edited TV version is never going to be exactly what you'd hoped. They are trying to put out something for TV viewers. They're trying to edit something that's exciting, and sometimes they have to try to make a storyline where there isn't one. Guess what? Survivor makes storylines all the time where there isn't one. You just don't know it because you didn't have live feeds. Although sometimes later on, stories come about, what really happened on Survivor. Well, that's the difference. There's no what really happened on Big Brother because we all know what really happened. All right. I will get down off my soapbox, off my mini rant, but those of you that are complaining and screaming and saying Big Brother's boring, it's a boring season and all this, just be aware that it will never be as exciting as you'd hope. There are times where there are seasons that have been definitely more exciting, and every once in a while there is the lightning in the bottle season that is just like, oh my God, this was an amazing season. That's great. And so Big Brother Over the Top, gets kudos for being so great because we get to see the diary rooms. The season was not an amazingly magical season of twists and turns and all that stuff. It was good because we got to see even more than we're used to seeing. We got even more behind the scenes stuff that we're used to seeing. And they didn't edit the TV show as much because there was not really a TV show, even though that's all you can see now. All you can see now is what they've put together, in the on the 1 hour shows that they would do once a week or whatever it was. So it's a bang, bang, bang. But remember, we could see it all. All right, there's my mini rant. Again, getting off that soapbox, and just keep all that in mind. And when you go online screaming and yelling about how boring Big Brother is or any negatives, just remember, that there's some good too, and maybe you should be a little bit of a cheerleader at times for it, because that helps things out. You don't want to come. You want it. You have to temper the negative with the positive. So as much as times I yell and scream and how mad I am about Big Brother, I say I only want it to be better, and I also still appreciate what we have, because I do. Although there are times when I would be fine if it ended so that I didn't have to worry about it anymore. Oh, all right. That's it, guys. I am out of here. Hope you have a good Tuesday. And just keep all that in mind. I don't know if that was worth my rant or not. But, yeah. Derek X is going on Thursday. And who knows? Very most likely Claire will go next. Then Alyssa. Then Sarah Beth, unless they've decided to switch Alyssa and Claire in the order. I mean, I don't know. And even if Claire or Alyssa win head of household, then one of the other three will be going. They just have it all. It's all laid out very nicely and neat, and they just don't seem to be, those non-cookout members just don't seem to be willing to or able to pull the trigger and target them because part of them just doesn't want to believe that could be an alliance for various reasons, because it's been so secretive and just because they don't, maybe part of them doesn't want to say, well, I don't want to assume that because that would look bad. Who knows? All right. I'm out of here. You guys be well, and we'll talk to you probably tomorrow. I don't think I'll do another one of these today, but probably I'll do one tomorrow for sure. All right. Bye.